So with the data model built, we can now start developing our user interface. So the data model is a group of variables and functions, in this case computed variables, which are essentially functions. They're all collated and grouped together inside of one object called a piggy bank. So a piggy bank contains a goal, a savings goal, so the value we're saving for, the coins that have been collected in our piggy bank, and a particular color, which is just used for the theme of the app. The computed variable total will add up all the coins in the array and give us a total. And the percentage is the total divided by the savings goal, which is a decimal number that can be used in our user interface to indicate how much of the goal we've completed. So we'll have, say, hypothetically $25 and saved of our $50 saving goal, giving us 0.5. So hopefully I'll be able to make, say, half a circle, for example, to show a progress bar. So to begin this application, we need to bring down the squiggly brackets. This is just a personal preference, so I can see where brackets start and end. At the top, we begin the application by creating an observed object called pbank, which is going to equal a pbank from our data model. So I quite like having a sample data inside of this, so I'm going to use the full initializer, and the goal will be a pair of AirPods Max. Then we're looking at a saving goal of $899, and the color will be, let's go blue for our color. So now I have the sample data ready for the application. Ideally, if this was to be built fully, which we will be moving on to next, it will be a view to create a new piggy bank or modify an existing one. But for now, we'll just enter the sample data manually in our code. So as the application will be going from top to bottom, we start with a VStack. I'm going to put a text in, going to our piggy bank and getting out the goal name as our title. And I'm going to change the font to a system font, so whatever the default one for our system is. The size will be 50, the weight will be, let's go bold, and the design, let's do a rounded design. And there's our AirPods Max. Now, this isn't perfect because obviously as the goal name gets too big, it won't adjust, but we're prototyping and we don't really worry about that at the moment. I'm going to change the foreground color to dot to pbank dot color, and this will be used throughout the application so we can get a nice theme going. Next will be a progress bar. So I'm going to use a Z stack because I'd like to layer two circles on top of each other. So there's one circle, dot frame, and I'm going to use a width of 200 and a height of 200 so that frame gets nice and tight. Done. I might just make that a little bit bigger. This isn't an ideal way of making this because the application will not adjust to the size of the device, but I'm just going to do this again for prototyping purposes. We're going to do a stroke with a piggy bank color and a line width of, let's go 30. Now I think we need to bring that one first, and there it goes, done. So I've now got my circle. I'm actually going to make that a little bit lighter. So there's a few ways of doing it, but a nice easy way is making the color have an opacity of 0.75, and now be a bit lighter, maybe go 0.5. On top of that circle will be another circle. This time though, we're going to trim the circle from a certain value, which will be 0, to a certain value of piggy bank. Well, actually, we'll just start off with 0.45. And you'll see there's my 45% of a circle. We're going to grab this information here, these modifiers, and paste them straight in. And now it goes over the top, and you can see because both of them have got opacity, they kind of show the outer circle a bit better, but we're going to change that so I can really see that outer circle fully. And now it's showing that progress bar. So as we get a larger value into this, it moves around. So that's working just fine. So I'm going to throw in my piggy bank percentage, which is 0 at the moment. So that's going to have no circle, but as the values increase inside a piggy bank, it's going to go around. And on top of all that, I'm going to have text piggy bank dot total. And because I'm on iOS 15, I've got a nice little function, or nice little support here for format and making it a number. Now I'd like to get that $sign out the front, so I'm going to put a H stack in and have 2 text fields with dollar in front of it. We'll have a spacing of 0, so they're nice and tight next to each other. Done. And we'll change the font. So we'll just make this large title to be nice and easy. And bold. And this one, we'll just make it .font and .title, so not quite as big. Actually, we might just leave it as a body. Looks quite nice there with the little small $sign in front. Job done. Finally, we're going to make all those a foreground color of piggy bank .color. Now, because this is on the outside of the H stack, this will apply the foreground color to both of these objects. So there's my progress bar done. Moving down. Now we start building that interface between the to allow the input of the numbers. So before I do that, I'm going to go to the top here and add in the numbers that I need. So let cents, so these are all the values for values less than $1, equals 0.05, 0.1, 0.2, and 0.5. So 5, 10, 20, and 50 cent coins. Then let dollars, I'm going to this time say it's going to be an array of double, just so I'm consistent, and also so I can add it to my coins. Since I can use type inferencing and just put 1.0, but I'm just going to leave it off there. Just showing a different way of initializing the array. So I'm just saying that that's going to be an array of double. So even though these are written as integers, they will be doubles inside the array. So with that done, for each cents ID, so identifying each of these values in the loop, just itself, coin in, and I'm going to do a circle with a frame width of 75 and a height of 75, and an overlay. So I'm going to put something over top. So this is similar to a Z stack, where I can actually just place a view on top of the circle. I'm going to put text on top and the value for the coin. And a C on the end, with a foreground color of white. There we go. So I should be able to resume that, and that'll hopefully get my numbers going across for each of the cents. Not going across. I need to put this into a H stack. So by default, they're going down the screen because everything is in that V stack. That's better. And I'll throw a bit of padding. So above and below, there's a little bit of space there. Now the value looks to be not quite what we're looking for. So I'm going to multiply this by 100 to get the 5. And I'm really just going to need a formatter for that. So I might just sneak this in. Slight shift. So text will be string format from memory percentage point percentage 0f of my coin multiplied by 100 plus the C on the end. And that looks awfully ugly with code. Extra bracket. There we go. D? No, there it goes. Or F. So 0.0. There it goes. Okay, so 0.0F, 0 decimal places. So that works just nicely, and I've got my 5, 10, 20, 50 cent coin. I'm going to give this a font of dot title just to be seeing how that looks. Lovely, and bold. Wonderful. And the circle needs a foreground color of Piggy Bank dot color. There we go. And our padding, I'm just going to do vertical padding of 20, just give it more space. Even 40. There we go. And I won't need to put that in the bottom one as I copy and paste for my dollars. And I'll get rid of that there. Lovely. Now I'm not going to multiply this one by 100 because they're already in the right format. And I'll get rid of the cents. I actually would like dollars in there. There we go. So our interface is built. We've got our goal at the top, the value inside, and the values for our coins that when we find them and put them out of piggy bank, we just simply tap the button. We need to put a bit of functionality to this now. So when I on tap of this HTAC, I just hit enter there to remove the perform. This will automatically be 2 squiggly brackets to put my code in. And I go to my piggy bank, .coins, .append my coin that I tapped on. So whether it's a 5 cent coin or the 10 cent coin, 0.05, 0.1, although it's displaying 5 cents, it will still do the 0.5 or 0.05 because I'm multiplying by 100 here, but I'm not down here. And I don't want contents of, I just want to append the coin. Done. And I'll do the same down here on this one. Now I got to put in the circle, not the HTAC. That's a mistake. That's better. Okay, so we end up with our coins ready to go. I'll hit play. And I hit my 5 cent, 10 cent, 20, working lovely, $1, 2, and our progress bars increasing significantly, which is great. So ideally this application will be used while having the coins next to you and you just see them and visually tapping on the button as you add them to your piggy bank. And we look like we're good to go. So in the next video, we'll look at modifying our, actually before we go, let's add a nice background. So I'm just going to get the screen size. Let's go screen, it's going to equal UI screen dot main dot bounds. I'm going to go down to my V stack down the bottom and do a frame. I should ignore safe areas first, so that way I ignore the spaces at the top and at the bottom. And dot frame, and this will be the screen dot width. This will be the screen dot height. I'm going to skip the alignment. Then I'm going to do a background of simply the piggy bank's color. And I'll put a nice opacity on so it's not so dominant. 0.2 should be fine. So we'll resume that to pick up that little bit of code. We got the screen because it's outside of the body. There we go, that looks quite nice. Might even just throw that to 0.1 or even 0.05. Oops. That's just a very gentle shade of blue with our interface on top, and you could tinker with this